Winterfest begins, Kat is still being demonized, and Vernon and Sharon are playing a dangerous game. What's good, y'all? She gets Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Beyond the Gates video. And in this one, I'm breaking down season 1, episode number 184. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Beyond the Gates content and conversations. In this episode, specifically this breakdown, I'm kind of excited for this conversation that I'm about to spark because we get to talk about self-betrayal, bookies. We get to talk about self-centeredness, self-sovereignty, stewardship. I'm really going to go there. And we're going to go there from the top of the damn video because let's talk about Kat and her asking the question, am I self-centered, to Naomi and Nicole in this episode. I thought that this was a very profound moment. And it just continues to me to highlight the type of person that Kat is. And regardless of how bad y'all want her to be the villain, regardless of how bad y'all want to play like she's the most evil, meanest person that ever walked the God's green earth, true villains don't actually reflect on their actions, don't really reflect on how people are perceiving them or communicating with them or engaging with them. Those people are not trying to actively process and bring peace to dissonance that's created in conflict, no matter if they are 100% fine with meeting said conflict, right? This, to me, is healthy. This is also how I function. I might get with somebody, I might tell them like what it is or what it ain't. I'll cut somebody clean out here, and then I'll go to one of my bestest of friends. I'll go to a cousin. I'll go to somebody that I trust, and I'll say, was I wrong? Was I harsh? Like, I'll get to asking certain questions because I do think on the other side about like how certain things can be received, even when I feel like I was wrong. And that's what I saw playing out. Like, Kat is still very staunchly on like, this girl attacked our family. This girl attacked me. I don't like her, but I hear y'all. And I don't like that she's not getting credit for that. And I specifically don't like, but I love that we're having this conversation. So I love the scene itself because it gives what needs to be gave. And I feel like it's my job, being the person that I am, to bring the nuance to the conversation, because we'll see these types of conversations play out on screen, or we'll be having these types of conversations happening in our homes, but we don't take it to the level that it needs to be taken to so that everybody can actually grow and evolve from it. So again, I'm glad that we're here. Kat is asking the question of, is she self-centered? Nicole and Naomi kind of flip it back on her, like, well, do you think you are? And then Naomi's like, well, I love you. She's like, well, I get that I'm too much. And she's like, well, I love you too much in this 99% of the time. And she's like, well, does the 1% make me a bad person? It does not. That is the key there. Let's go ahead and put that as our North Star. Because 1% of the time, if your too much is too much for somebody, you damn sure is not a bad person, because 1% of the time, your too much is overbearing. Your too much is loud. Your too much is whatever. Cool. So y'all have both agreed at the top of this conversation that Kat is not a bad person. So how in the heck do we arrive at the end of this conversation to which Kat decides that she don't no longer want to go to Winterfest? And because she don't want to go to Winterfest, because she's going to remove herself from the Dupree family function, which I guess is mandatory because y'all are all Duprees and y'all supposed to be moving as one band, one sound, regardless of how anybody is feeling, regardless of what conflict somebody's in, regardless of what mental distress, what emotional distress, whatever is actually going on. When a family wants you to do something, your ass got to do it. It's giving cult, but okay. We get to the end of that conversation, and Nicole, you are standing there loud and proud, talking about, well, you got the answer to your question. So now you have changed your answer. You have now positioned her to be wrong because she don't want to go to Winterfest anymore, because Winterfest is something that your family has worked hard for multiple decades, and this is something that gives back to people. But Kat made a valiant point. There'll be plenty of Duprees there. She's probably already helped in the donations, in the securing additional funding, all of the things that the little Duprees was running around doing to be able to make this event happen. Coming and actually drinking and partying, that is just the tail end of it. That is just the like finishing touches of it. We even get to see that when we go to Winterfest, and we see Anita talking to Mona and Laura, the true masters of this event, And she tells them, y'all don't need to be worried about nothing. Y'all have done a great job up until this point. Now it's just time to enjoy. So the fact that Kat don't want to come and now enjoy because she cannot actually enjoy because of the circumstances that are happening tied to her half sister and her father. Now she's self-centered. You didn't agree that she was self-centered at the top of the damn conversation, but at the end of the conversation, she's self-centered because she won't do what you want her to do. She won't do what the family wants her to do. She won't compromise herself. She won't betray herself and her feelings to be able to prioritize your feelings and the rest of the damn Dupree feelings. Is that correct? I think that's what it's given. And Nicole, for you to be a damn therapist, I'm just very surprised. And honestly, as we move forward in the show, I'm watching Nicole a little bit more closely because we give her a ton of credit for being a therapist, and I get that she's not the therapist of her family, and that's a conflict of interest. However, the skills that you have are the skills that you have. The intellect that you have is the intellect that you have. Those things bleed into everything that you do. You cannot just cut off your therapy brain just because you're talking to your family. And I get that your feelings will still be involved. But to me, this is wild. And this is just Nicole's programming coming out. You want your daughter to acquiesce to a system, acquiesce to a family, acquiesce to all of the expectations placed upon her because you did. You want her to put aside any uncomfortability. You want her to put aside any negative feelings. You want her to set aside all that she knows about herself and how she is attuned and listening to herself that is giving her red flags about this particular event and this particular setup. For what? So that the family can see her face? So that the family can say that everybody is there? So that y'all can say, oh, well, Kat is moving on. It's the same thing that y'all asses did to Dani when she was going through her process of trying to get over Bill. Y'all want to push people through these things and say, oh, just get over it. Or, oh, you need to go ahead and move on without actually giving them the process to do so. And I'm looking at Nicole sideways because, girl, you of all people know it's a process. The rest of these damn civilians, the rest of the people who have no type of psychological mind or no consideration in reference to how things work psychologically in your mind, they might not be privy to things being a process, to the cycles and how things work within the human mind, but your ass is. And the fact that this is your damn daughter, and the fact that you know that your daughter is still uncomfortable with your husband cheating on you, the same husband that cheated on you and you divorced him because of it, you now want her to go ahead and move forward and betray herself in order to keep up goddamn appearances? Nicole, please. Now, I want to speak specifically to the term self-centeredness because for me, I think that most people lead with the negative connotation that comes with it, and there is duality in self-centeredness. So when I automatically hear somebody is self-centered today, I don't think, oh, that makes them a terrible person. I think about the context to which they are being described as self-centered. So when I watched this episode, I was just like, oh, she's asking this question. Okay, this is a good conversation. Like, let's figure it out. Let's unpack it. Let's see if your self-centeredness is a detriment or if it's actually a benefit or a thing that you can use to protect yourself in this world. Because one thing that they're going to want you to do in this world is to always self-sacrifice. Sometimes you need a little bit of self-centeredness to combat the self-sacrifice that's being placed on you, right? But the negative connotation, the toxic self-centeredness is more rooted in ego-driven self-centeredness. And the definition of that is prioritizing one's own desires, comforts, and needs at the expense, at the expense of others, with a disregard for their well-being, feelings, and boundaries. I want to make this point. When I think about the context to which Kat is being called self-centered, I'm like, okay, so who is her self-centeredness harming in this moment? Because the definition, the negative side of self-centeredness means that you need to be prioritizing your own needs at the expense of others, which means what? It is costing somebody something, which is what? It is harming someone in some way. When we think about this, Kat is being self-centered. For me, I now disassociate the negative side of it because her being self-centered is not harming anybody. If anything, y'all are harming her by telling her to get over how she feels without actually processing how she feels, by not choosing her when she's desperately begging to be chosen while watching this girl be chosen. Like, there are so many things that are happening to her emotionally and mentally that are costing her, that everybody is acting like or wants her to act like it's not actually a thing because her personhood is not being prioritized. But you want to call her self-centered, or you want to liken her to be self-centered when all she is doing is withdrawing her damn self. If anything, the only person who is like experiencing some type of harm at the hands of Kat is Eva. And she's also provoking harm as well. So it's not as clean cut as that. People like to use self-centeredness and say, basically, like, your self-centeredness, your desire, your own desires is costing somebody else unprovoked. It changes it. It's no longer self-centeredness if it's you, what you're thinking, what you're feeling is harming me while the person is also harming you. Now y'all are in a fight. That's not just self-centeredness. So I wanted to go ahead and dispel that. Now, I did speak about the duality of self-centeredness. And I think that the other side of it, right? So the toxic side of it is toxic self-centeredness, which is more ego-driven. The healthy side is self-sovereignty, y'all. Self-preservation. Okay? And that definition would be prioritizing one's own needs, mental and emotional health, growth, and life direction. It is a form of self-stewardship that only requires saying no to things that diminish one's life force or diverts from one's purpose. I done gave y'all both definitions. Which one actually sounds like what the hell Kat is doing? Once I looked it up, I was like, okay, I feel this, but I need to go ahead and get me a little bit of something to back me up, because people be in the comment sections fighting for their dang on life behind, oh, Kat is terrible, Kat is this, Kat is that. I'm like, okay, well, let's take it to the damn literature here. Prioritizing one's own desires, comforts, and needs at the expense of others with a disregard for their well-being, feelings, and boundaries. That's the toxic self-centeredness. Prioritizing one's own needs, mental and emotional health, growth, and life direction. It is a form of self-stewardship that only requires saying no to the things that diminishes one's life force or diverts from one's purpose. That is healthy self-sovereignty. That is self-preservation. So yes, Kat, maybe you are self-centered, boo, but you are self-centered in a way of preserving yourself, because there is not a person around you other than Dani, who I think we're supposed to be seeing this week, her have a conversation with, that is trying to protect you in the circumstances that you're in the storm that she is in, that is Ted, Eva, and Leslie. There is not a person coming to her defense in a real way. Chelsea, you also did in the tuck a little bit. There's not a person coming to her defense in a real way. So she has to defend herself. She has to preserve herself, because otherwise she will be thrown to the wolves and eaten a damn live. All for the sake of maintaining appearances, all for the sake of going along to get along. And who the hell is doing that? Now, before I move on, I want to make the point of like why I decided to specify that. I decided to specify that because there is a cost to accommodation, and it's something that I realized just through lived experience. And now that I know it, I am just way more strict in how I move about my life, how I decide to accommodate people, because accommodating everyone else's comfort and ego is often a form of self-betrayal. It normalizes you pushing your own identity, your own needs, and your own dreams to the background, and it often leads to resentment, burnout, and loss of self. Ain't nobody got time for that. All for a Winterfest. You want this girl to betray herself, betray her feelings, betray who she knows herself to be, dim her light, put herself back in the box so that she can take her ass to the Winterfest and watch her father prance around with this girl, trying to get back years that he lost at the hands of a lady who he's trying to damn befriend, when he could be creating new memories and moving forward, which I'm going to get to that as well. This is probably going to be a very long video, y'all, because there were so many things that I like honed in on in watching it. Nobody got time for accommodation. And if Kat decides in this moment that she doesn't want to accommodate the Duprees and what they're expecting of her, her dad and what he's expecting of her, and Eva and the forgiveness that she wants from her, then that's her damn choice. It's her life. Everybody else is making the decisions that they want to make. Why the hell can't she? Oh, okay. And honestly, it is not self-centered. It is self-defining. Her choices are not her taking from anybody else, but it's about her defining her own life. She is asserting her right to exist for herself and not just supporting the characters around her, not supporting everybody around her and what they want from her damn life. And I love this for her. This is something that I will champion until my last day, specifically as it pertains to young Black women. The earlier you learn this, the earlier that you are able to cultivate some type of discernment so that you're not moving through life with the overly accommodating ass spirit, shrinking yourself, the better off you'll be. The bigger your dreams will be able to be, the bigger your bank account will be, the bigger your relationships will be, the bigger your faith will be, the bigger everything will damn be. And that was my whole point in wanting to make sure I specified that. Okay. Nicole, she really let me down in this conversation. Naomi, I wasn't too much tripping. I think that she remained neutral to a certain extent. But the both of them, I think, are very interested in them choosing, the writers choosing to have Nicole and Naomi be the ones to have this particular conversation to Kat was interesting to me, because they are both the two women who kind of move as close to the Dupree line as possible. Naomi, she made a couple little deviations, like she decided not to live in Fairmont Crest, and she went and married a police officer, and like she made certain choices, but she is still very much so indoctrinated into the culture that is the Duprees, right? And all of their expectations and all of their like controlling of reputation and this, that, and the third. Nicole is the stereotypical eldest daughter who is still towing the damn line, and it is costing her. And I hate her actually perpetuating that onto Kat, because if anything, she should be learning from what she's experienced and creating a safe space for Kat to be free, but she's not. And that's the part that's disappointing me. Now, I talked about Kat this day and going on. Let me go ahead and finish her off, because after she has this conversation and she basically tells them that she's not going to be coming to Winterfest, she goes to Uptown and meets up with Tomas and then reveals that to him. And it's so sad to watch her grow in distance with her family, and then watch her grow closer to Tomas, because we know on the back end that Tomas does not actually mean well for her. Like, Kat, for all intents and purposes, is a means to an end for him. Specifically, she is a part of how he is planning to climb the corporate ladder. Bill already made it very clear that he needed to seem a bit more committed. So now he is taking her off to do Thanksgiving solo with each other. Now he's talking about him. He can't fathom waking up with her not in his bed. And basically he wants them to move in together. And Kat is honestly being primed to walk right into this trap. And I hate this for her so bad. However, the choice to put it on screen and like how the storyline is playing out, I think is such a brilliant choice to make, because this is how it happens. This is how women find themselves in all types of relationships, right? Like Tomas himself is not a physically abusive man, but it's similar pathways like what we're seeing now, where there are young girls who are hitting a point within their family where they feel ostracized, where they feel overly criticized, where they start to feel so othered that they literally are reaching out for somebody else. And Kat has been basically screaming, not physically, but basically screaming for somebody to choose her. So then Tomas comes along and he is choosing her per se. And now her brain is telling her, yes, this is what I've been wanting. This is what I need. And now she's getting more and more and more involved in this relationship, getting more and more and more attached to this man that she should not actually be with. This is quite literally the pipeline to the terrible relationships, to the canon event of relationships, to the romantic moment that shifts everything, because you were never supposed to fall in love with this man. However, circumstances set you up to do so. It's wild. Now, in this episode, we don't get Kat's actual response, so we don't know if she's going to say yes or she's going to say no. I'm praying that she says no, because I need her to start pumping the brakes when it comes to Tomas. But that is definitely something that we're going to have to wait and see. Now, speaking about Tomas, Ted confronts him at the top of the episode, and that was very interesting. That was a choice that I did not expect them to actually do. The way that they have the family respond to Tomas from the very beginning, and I get it, like not everybody is like overly aggressive and has weird ass energy up front, but I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I am the cousin, I am the family member who is reading energy from new people, especially romantic partners, and I'm side-eyeing people until you give me a reason to not side-eye you. Like, I'm not necessarily assuming the worst, but I'm not just rolling out the red carpet for some random ass person to walk into my family members, my loved one's life and acting like everything is okay, especially if I pick up on something. So for me, I was surprised to see Ted have this energy, because they went out of their way at the top of this series when Kat started to show interest in Tomas and he started to come around. They kind of played at, oh my God, we got to protect Kat. But for the most part, everybody was like, oh great, she finally got a man, or oh great, you're going to be great. And like nobody had any kind of push for him. Nobody was like asking him what his real intentions were in a real way. Nobody was holding his feet to the fire and like understanding the treasure that is Kat, that he is trying to actually pursue. Like nobody handled him in the way that I felt like they should. And now Ted is here and it's like, okay, this is exactly what you should be doing. But it took for him to sleep with both of your damn daughters, create additional conflict, and you just don't like it because you're uncomfortable with them staying in conflict. Is this the only reason why you're actually bringing this up? Because this is the energy that you should have from the beginning. This is the protective energy that you should have had. And now I'm just like, damn, I was giving Ted credit for it because I'm like, I love to see it. But it's like, oh, do you have this protective energy because it's both your daughters, or do you have this protective energy because it's Eva? I can't trust it. I don't know, y'all. I don't trust Ted. I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. But again, for overall, I enjoyed the energy because Tomas's feet need to be held to the fire. He's been able to walk into Kat's life, run amok, like she is left unguarded and weak in so many areas as it pertains to this romantic relationship and pressure points where Tomas is going to be able to exploit her insecurities and her naivete, specifically in romance. And it's like, these are the gaps that your family should be able to fill, especially like if you have a relationship with your father, like Kat has had up until this point. He is supposed to be able to fill the gaps and be able to cover you, and you've been missing in action and not covering her ass. So now you're showing up late to do the damn job. But I guess we just need to be glad that the job is starting to get done, I guess. Tomas talking about, I've been trying to run interference. I've been trying to be peacemaker. How the hell you is going to be peacemaker when you part of the damn problem? You quite literally the little ass shiny toy that the girls is fighting over. You think that you going to cause peace when you're enjoying creating dissent and dissension amongst the two, and you're enjoying attention from the both of them, having two different conversations with Tomas, please. I kind of want Ted to stick it to him a little bit harder, honestly. Now, talking about Ted, we get the moment where he gets to come to Winterfest with Eva, and y'all might be able to peg that I'm about to go this way, but I don't know. I feel like this also just is really what's coming to my brain right now when I'm recording. This didn't even come to my brain fully while I was watching, but now I'm like doubling, tripling down, and like, I get that you live in Fairmont Crest too, Ted, but the amount of your life that is still so centered around the Duprees is wild to me. And then that does not help when it's partnered with Leslie and Eva's centering the damn Duprees. Like this, you would think that the Duprees are the damn royal family and y'all asses live in England, because when I'm watching this and it's like, Eva walks in and she's just like, oh, so enamored. This is such a great Dupree event. Oh my God, it's amazing. And he's glad to have her on his arm. He's like, you're the prettiest girl here. It's like, you have to go out your way to reassure her within this Dupree space. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why won't you go create your own damn memories? Why don't you go and find other things to do? Y'all are near DC, for God's sake. Like, y'all could go to Georgetown. Y'all could go to National Harbor. Y'all could go to Arlington. Y'all could go to Crystal City. Like, y'all could take y'all ass down to Baltimore and create some traditions if you damn want to. But your ass is here. Now, I get that they have to be here because that's what the show is. But psychologically, this actually doesn't make any sense. And honestly, it wasn't Ted and like how he's like, basically this is like a faux debutante type of situation. Like, that's the correlation that Nicole made to Kat of like, when you came out, you had all of this, and you had the party, and you had the dresses, and you had this. She's gonna take a lap around the golf course. When that happened, it clicked to me of like, why does this has to be her like entering into society moment? Why are we so hell bent on trying to go back and like rewrite history in the present and like give Eva all of these circumstances, all of these moments that she missed, versus focusing on starting where y'all asses are and creating memories now, doing things now, age appropriate things now. Like, you cannot go back and give her the 5th grade party that Kat got, and in the 10th grade such and such that Kat got, and in the quinceañera, and like, you can't go and do those things now. And the way that they are so preoccupied with it is very, very much so giving weird to me. But it's also giving weird because while y'all are so hooked on, oh, we're trying to make up for lost time, and oh, we're going to give you everything that you missed, you're also not holding the woman accountable who forced her to miss all these damn things. Leslie's the one who breaks her this tacky ass dress. I'ma say it, tacky ass dress. What the hell is this? Claiming that she looked like a princess. No, she don't. She looked like she ready to go dance, honestly, but whatever. Leslie is the reason why you don't have the moments that you could have had when she was growing up. And while we're so hell-bent on trying to give her these moments, we're not going to hold Leslie damn accountable. We're going to let Leslie still frolic around and Leslie create all of these little romanticized ass moments of this is your time, and act like I'm not there, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Huh? Y'all could go ahead and skip all of this, cut the middle person out, especially if you're not going to hold Leslie's ass accountable for robbing you of all that time, and just go do something else. So much of the dissonance, so much of the conflict is coming because y'all are trying to force y'all square asses into a round hole. You don't fit. And it's not to say like, oh, like to the point of like the classist thing and how Kat had described of like Eva don't fit. I'm saying like, you're now divorced from Nicole. And yes, you are supporting the family and you're providing for this philanthropic effort, but you don't actually have to be here, Ted. You could go and cultivate a social life of your damn own. It's interesting to me how Ted gets so frustrated in his position within the Duprees, and like he's fighting for Eva to have a place into his world, but his world is not even his world any damn more. You don't belong here. And I need, and again, he can come to Winterfest as a public event, but this is bigger than Winterfest. I'm using Winterfest as an example because to me it just became so clear watching them at the beginning of Winterfest with this episode. But so much of his social life, so much of how he moves is what he had been doing. And it's like, sir, you're divorced, and some of that access gets revoked unless you're going to move like Bill's ass, which there's a clear difference. Like Bill, yeah, still comes to the country club, still does certain things amongst the society, but he is banging on the damn glass trying to get in. He can't get into the damn club, which is why he's over here having heart-to-heart conversations with Vernon about wanting to get in. But Ted is still moving to me like he is and like Eva deserves. And it's like, no. When you got divorced, all of your lineage and whatever else comes with you gets divorced as well. She is not owed these things. And it's going back to Nicole of like, oh, this is her coming out and da-da-da. It's like, Nicole, you afforded Ted that. And Kat is your daughter. Eva is not. So she doesn't automatically get these things. Go find some other things. Go make some other things. Ugh. Oh, but and then I went off on a tangent, y'all. I said all of that to say Eva and Leslie will not be happy until they descended the Duprees. So much of their life is how they're going to fit into the world that the damn Duprees built. Leslie, you have your own money, multi-millions of dollars. Why? Why is it so important for you to now have this foundation? I know that Eva is not trying to do a foundation to compete with the Duprees. She just tried to sell it to her mama in that way because she knew that what was going to make her mama bite. But for you to now try to run up alongside of the damn Duprees. The world is huge, girl, and you are stuck in this toxic ass mindset trying to compete with this damn family that has already been established. For why? And then I'm going to take it to Eva because you might not have the same sinister ass motives as your mama, but you look at everything that the Duprees do like, oh my God, they're just so amazing. Why don't you figure out what you actually like? Because most of the stuff that you're identifying with and you're aspiring to is because it's been told to you or it kind of looks cool. But what the hell is it that you actually want to do? What kind of life do you want to live? Like, I guess that's also why I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her and the whole Isaiah thing a chance because it's something outside of the damn Duprees. And I'm sick and tired of hearing her and her mama talk about them so much. I'm like, I could not imagine running through life, running after a damn family who it's not paying me no goddamn mind. Like what? Everything that I do, I wake up in the morning, everything that I do is centered around what the hell this other family is doing. For why? I don't give a damn. I'm doing what the hell I want to do. What's going to make me happy. Y'all know we don't have that much time on this earth, right? We don't have that much time on this earth. I'm just saying. Now, talking about Isaiah, child, because he and Jacob are down at the Orphegenes catching up as brothers, but Jacob can't help but to be spitting that damn daddy ass rhetoric. And Isaiah clocks it immediately. He's like, is this you asking or is this Pop's accent? Because Jacob is asking, are you running with the old crew? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Have you really turned over a new leaf? And I get it, Isaiah, because that's annoying as hell. When you are no longer the person that you were and people keep coming asking you or coming to talk to you as if you were that person, that should be annoying as hell, because I did not do all this work for you to just be getting on my nerves trying to drag my ass to the past. You don't actually know me. You haven't seen me in however many years. I think it's been like 7 years since he's seen Isaiah. You quite literally don't know me. And I guess this is also touching a nerve for me, because when I go back home, people who had known me still think that they do know me. And it's like, you don't know this Erica. You have never met this Erica. I even tell some of my family members that I do talk to regularly, like, y'all really don't know me because y'all haven't even met me fully. There are so many things that I do in my life. There's so many like ways that I engage with my personhood and how I show up in the world that y'all don't even see, because you just don't engage with me in that way. You're not into the same things that I'm into. You just don't have an opportunity to see me in this way. So you actually don't have a full scope of who the hell I am. Stop speaking to me like you know me. And it's not even no shade. That's not even no like, I'm trying to be rock to you or whatever. But it's like, move in a way of getting to know somebody. I feel like Jacob, he didn't mean to at all. He didn't have the intentions of like trying to be presumptuous. He is the big brother that's trying to be protective, that's still got a little bit of that stupid ass daddy on him, that's, you know, living his life a certain way. He's indoctrinated to a certain extent. So he is thinking like that. But we have to be a little bit more open and a little bit more flexible, especially when we're engaging with family members or loved ones who do go out into the world and experience things, because we find ourselves, the people who leave home find ourselves differently. We evolve differently. We grow differently. And like, when you come back home, that's one of the reasons, like, I have this whole idea for like my personal channel of doing a video series of like, you can't go home. And not to say that I can't go home, because clearly y'all have seen I've gone back to Baltimore plenty of times. But one of the things that come up for me when I do go back home to Baltimore is how restrictive it feels. Like how when I go home, I only do certain things because my family only does this thing, and because this is how this happens, and so much is like the very same as it was 10 years ago and 20 years ago. But I am so different now, and the things that I do on a day-to-day is so different, and how I move is so different. It stands out. Like, it sticks out so crazy. And a lot of my family members, even my grandmother's just like, why are you like this? Like, she says that often, and I try not to take it personally and whatever, but going home can feel so restrictive. And I'm watching this play out, this conversation with Isaiah and Jacob play out, and I'm like, I get it. I could totally feel like, or feel how he feels of like, really? Because Jacob isn't leading with, at least at the top of it, before Isaiah checks him, he's not leading with curiosity in reference to getting to know the Isaiah that he sees now. He is leaning with his information that he knows about Isaiah and still ascribing that to Isaiah, when Isaiah could have already moved through that particular identity. Isaiah could be on a whole different, Isaiah could have been 6 different people since you last saw him, and yet it's still you engaging with him the way that you last saw him, and that's not fair to him. But the people who stay home, the people who aren't necessarily growing and evolving at the same rate, they don't get that until you say that, or until you like push back on some of the things that they're projecting on you. So I think that they did a really great job with this scene and like communicating that. And I like Isaiah, like, is who is asking, is it dad or is it you? Because I think that Isaiah also knows that Jacob does love him and Jacob does want the best for him, but he also knows that Jacob is way too influenced by his father. And Isaiah is the perfect person to point that out, because he has left the nest, so he can just see things so much better. You don't see them when you're in them, but when you're outside of them and you've experienced the world in different ways and you've met various people, you can identify things just a little bit different, and sometimes I think a little bit better. So yes, that was that conversation. I actually enjoyed that conversation. I'm going to enjoy, I think, watching Isaiah and Jacob move to a place where they're really, really close. And I think that Isaiah does have some things, even though I'm still on the fence about him as a character, and if I can trust him, I do think that he is coming with some things that could rub off on Jacob that could ultimately help Jacob. Because I think that while Jacob is a great man and an integrous man, he does need to be free from the shackles of like obligation and family duty, especially when his family patriarch is an idiot like Elon. Now, last but certainly not least, the Articulates are back together in this episode, and they're talking about tour, and Anita wants to catch up with them and wants to keep in touch, lets them know about Leslie Day and the child, and then they wind up going to Winterfest, to which we get to see Sharon and Vernon sneaking off to like get drinks with one another and have little secret talks with one another, and they're still trying to push this they're sleeping together propaganda. But again, if I don't see them in the bed, I'm not going to say that they're actually sleeping with one another. But the other little articulate, what was her name? I can't even remember her name. Bless her heart. She peeped them going off, and she's the one who's going to be like, what's going on here? And I'm actually looking forward to that, because Anita's ass is oblivious, okay? Completely oblivious, even though she has moments in the conversation where it's like, I got to be on my man, because these women be looking at him all crazy, and they definitely want him. It's like, Lord, if only. Y'all tried it. Visually, they are definitely tried. The way they wrote it, it's like, okay, cool. I get what y'all trying to do here. But I do think that audiences are way more perceptive than what they typically were. And there's a lot of like soap vets writing this show, so to me this little trope, it was just so clear as day that I'm not buying into it. But I guess if this was like 10 or 15 years ago, this would have been a big thing, and it could have been a cool like cliffhanger moment of like, is Vernon cheating on Anita? But I'm like unequivocally saying no, he ain't. And that's it, y'all. That's all I have for episode 184. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with, and I'll see you in my next one.